Everyone's Chris and I'm here with my May wrap up, and I'm a little late with it because I was still on a trip at the beginning of June, so I hadn't actually reviewed all the things that I read over that trip until like 2 hours ago. So here I am. I had a pretty amazing reading month. Mostly everything's a 5-star, and I said mostly because I just realized that there are a couple not 5 stars in that batch. But yeah, most of the books were pretty top tier for me. It was a good reading month. May was a really good reading month. And we're just going to go right into it. This book is Gay by James Dawson, now Juno Dawson. James, they transitioned. This book I gave 5 stars. It's a nonfiction book, and it's supposed to be an informative book for teens on, well, sexuality, essentially. Sexuality and gender identity, actually. And yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so funny. There's a lot of humor to it. There's a foreword by David Levithon that was even funny. This book has great illustrations. It's really, really great book. And there's a rainbow. The Hidden Oracle, the first book of the Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan. I have full video reviews on one non-spoiler and one spoiler, so I'm just going to link those down below, but I really enjoyed this book. Apollo is bisexual, is what I was going to say, and that was really great. I'm like a bisexual lead character and basically a middle grade book of a series that I've already, like, kind of in a world that I'm already, like, invested in. So I was really happy about that. But yeah, I'll talk about it more in my non-spoiler review, for which is only like 3 minutes long, so just go check that out. Made of Stars by Kelly York was my challenge book. I didn't think I was going to like this book, but I actually really ended up enjoying a lot. It's essentially about siblings, Hunter and Ashlyn, who grow up with this friend Chance, who they don't really know a lot about his real life because he lies so much about his family and his upbringing and things like that. One day he's implicated in a murder, and the two of them are trying to clear his name. Their father's a police officer, and they try to clear his name, which there wasn't a lot of mystery sleuthing stuff in here, but when it got to that part, I really, really enjoyed it. And I also enjoyed the relationships in the book. Hunter's dealing with his sexuality because he has feelings for Chance. Ashlyn's dealing with the fact that her brother has feelings for the guy that she has feelings for, and it was actually really well done. I loved Ashlyn's character. I loved Hunter's character. Chance's character surprised me and surprised me and surprised me as the book went along, and the ending really surprised me. Definitely would recommend trying out this book. Not sure if I'm going to try out more Kelly York because I can't handle the emotions, but we'll see. The Property Brothers Ultimate Guide to Finding and Fixing Your Perfect House. I already did like a review of this on the channel, so I'm just going to link it down below, and then that review talks about all the different elements of this book. It's obviously like a book, it's a guidebook on how to do what it says in the title. So, but I talk about the different elements of the book in that review. If you want to go check that out, I'll have a link to it down below. Cat in the Cradle is the first book of the Local Legends series. I have read both books now. I read the second book at the beginning of June, so I'm not going to have them wrap up. But this is a fantasy adventure series that follows queer characters. This book follows Dylan. Dylan also is followed in the second book, but there's new queer characters in the second book as well. And I loved this book. I think I loved the second book even more. I gave them both 5 stars. But I'm going to be doing a series review that's non-spoiler where I talk about the characters and the magic system and also some other elements of the story that I really liked a lot. So I'm going to be having that coming up soon. But yeah, this book is fantastic. If you like adventure style books and you want to read one with a queer character, then definitely go pick up this book. It is awesome. Also, there are fantastic illustrations in it. I really actually like the illustrations. I don't think some people are like super into illustrations in books like this, but for like a fantasy adventure book like this, it works really well, and I liked it a lot. So go and check this book out. The House You Pass on the Way by Jacqueline Woodson. This is a story about a girl named Stagger Lee. This is her self-chosen name. Her birth name is like Evangeline or something like that. And she is a black queer girl in the South trying to come to terms with herself and just growing up. And I really, really love this story so much. Like, it's a short story compared to like other things. I think it was like, I don't know how many pages was it, but it wasn't very long. But it was so well done, and it makes me really want to read more Jacqueline Woodson in the future, and that's definitely something I'm going to do because this story was so good. The Escaped Murderer of Somerville. This is the third book in the Somerville series by A.J. Raven. This series follows Jerry, who is a high schooler and he's a journalist. He's like in the school journalism thing. And in the first book and in the second book, he gets into mystery solving. He's sleuthing and he's solving these things for the paper, essentially. But these are things he shouldn't be getting involved with, like murders and kidnappers. And this book is an escape murderer, if you couldn't tell by the title. And I really love the series. I love Jerry when he's at his sleuthing best. He and his friends are like work really well together. Like they're such a good unit. Like this is a team that works together to solve things, and they're fantastic when they're at that best moment when they're together. The relationship stuff in the book gets a little meh, and this book, I feel like Jerry's been kind of relationship limbo. He's basically kind of in a love square, which I think is cool for a lot of people to see. I think a lot of people like seeing that for a queer character to kind of be in this kind of situation, because you don't really see that with queer characters very often. But for me, it's getting a little bogged down in the third book. I'm hoping the next book gets some of that cleared up. But I'm really excited for the rest of the series, and I cannot wait to read them. Here Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchison. This book is fantastic. I've been saying that a lot about books, but this book is really great. I have a full review of it on my blog, so I'm going to link the blog review. Essentially, the book is about this guy named Henry Denton. His family is struggling at the moment. His ex-boyfriend, his former boyfriend committed suicide. His boyfriend committed suicide a while ago, and he's just not in a really good place in his life. And now he's been abducted by aliens, and the aliens are giving him the choice to save the world or not. All he has to do is press a button, and the world won't end. Like, I liked it way more than I thought it would. I was like, it was on my most anticipated reads list because I was like, it sounds really interesting. I always have to put one sci-fi alien queer book on my most anticipated reads list, and this time was way better than the last time. I was not disappointed. Loved this book so much. Becoming Nicole is the transformation of an American family. This is a story about a trans girl, her identical twin brother, and their family. This book really stuck to the name. It starts off with the family way before the twins are even born or are adopted by this family. So this is really, you meet the mother and the father, and you learn how they met and their background, and then you meet how they adopted their twins, and then you get to see how over time they start to realize that one of the twins is trans, and the twin going through the transition. It was a really, really good book. I thought Amy Ellis did a fantastic job with all of her interviewing and pulling together the story and doing all, like, you could tell how much research she did to pull together the story, and she did an amazing job. Definitely go check this out. Have Lost by Sally Green is the last book in the Half Bad trilogy, and you guys, I didn't like it. I know a lot of people like it. I really hated this ending. I've never been a person who was like, I've read a series and just hated the last book before. I thought this ending was so problematic. And I'm not going to go into it more than that because I'm just not about that life right now. Like, I'm not going to get myself worked up right now. I was having a nice time talking about the books that I liked, but I didn't like this book. Just gonna leave it at that. If you want to know why I didn't like the book, you can message me and I'll tell you. I can be civil. I just don't want to get myself worked up right now. So let's go on to the next book. The second Veronica Mars book, Mr. Kiss and Tell. This book deals with some sensitive topics. Essentially, a girl is sexually assaulted and left for dead, and Veronica is trying to figure out who did it. The girl doesn't have any memory, and Veronica is doing everything she can to solve this. Even when the police force is being completely unhelpful and not trying to look into it, Veronica is on this case trying to help this girl. I love that about Veronica. I loved a lot of elements of this book. I love things about the side characters. I like this stuff that was happening in Veronica's personal life was really well integrated into the story. I thought this was just a really brilliant book. I actually definitely think I like this book more than I like the first book, which was the $1,000 Tan Line. I enjoyed that book, but I definitely think I like this book a lot more. Probably because of the topic and just seeing Veronica fight so hard for this character and this situation was something that I just really, really enjoyed a lot. I loved this story. I got the audiobook. It was my audiobook from last month. And oh my god, you guys, I loved it so much. Such a tragic protagonist. He's so unfortunate. His life is so unfortunate, but I love him. He is a gay male who's in the closet for only, not really the whole entirety of the book. He comes out pretty fast to someone in the book, like his best friend, and also I loved his relationship with his best friend, Jeff. Fantastic relationship. One of my favorite I've read in a while. But essentially, he's dealing with a tragedy from 6 months ago. His sister died in a car crash, and he's finally come out of hibernation from this crash to go to this party with his friend he's dragging him to, and he's trying to start his life again. the main character is a screenwriter, and so there's like these little fantasy sequences where he's imagining how things will come out like in a screenplay, and I really love those sections. And the audiobook was so good. The voices, the like intonations of these certain characters were just so brilliant. The main character's wit came across just so well. He's very sassy, and I really, really liked it a lot. So yeah, definitely would recommend The Great American Whatever. I enjoyed it super, 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 super much. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Simon versus the Homicide Agenda, but only if they were older, because this is definitely an older book. All right, that's it for this wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, just like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all next time with probably my TBR. I'm thinking I'm going to be doing a TBR for this month. It's basically going to be all the queer books I'm planning on reading this month, because I don't know if I'm going to read anything else but queer books this month. I only read one book that wasn't a queer book last month, and that was Veronica Mars. So we'll see how that goes this month. Anyway, happy Pride Month, everyone. I will see you all next time. Hope you guys are having a good morning, evening, or night, or whenever you're watching this video. Bye.